Ohio Country Today.
Hello once again, everyone. We're visiting today with Dr. Kevin King. He is an agricultural research engineer with USDA's Agricultural Research Service. Dr. King, with what has happened in the last couple of years in Ohio, Toledo, of course, everybody knows about the water quality problems. A major effort has been underway in the last couple of years with people in education and government in various industries to improve the quality. And surface runoff is one of the areas in which research has been done. Can you talk to us a little bit about the edge of field?
Absolutely. So the Ag Research Service over the last 5-6 years has actually been, long before the Toledo incident broke, we were actually wanting to quantify the impacts of different agricultural practices, trying to understand what agricultural's role is in nutrient transport. So we have been working with 21 producers across the northwest quadrant of the state to actually put in edge of field instrumentation where we can actually capture the water that's coming across the surface, but also capture that water that's moving under the ground through the tile distribution system and it's coming out into the ditches and streams. It's been quite fascinating. We've been looking at a lot of the prevailing practices, which is pointing us into some certain directions. And we know that by and large of the 21 producers that we're working with, there's about 60% of those that are doing a phenomenal job. They're already meeting those thresholds that have been set forth in the binational agreement with Canada and the U.S. We have another 35, 36, 7% that are right on those fringes, and we know there's a lot of practices out here. We hear a lot about 4R nutrient management, that right source, rate, time, and placement of nutrients. Practices such as that will go a long way in helping us to get those other 35, 38% of farmers at or below that level. Drainage water management is another practice where we actually keep water back on the land when we don't need to let it go at certain times of the year. There's been a lot of evidence that shows that's a phenomenal practice that will help us as well. Then we do have those 2 or 3% that, no fault of their own, they were doing what was allowed within the law. They were doing exactly what they were being told to do from an extension standpoint, from a nutrient management standpoint. But over the years, they have gotten what we'll call hot in some way. The levels of phosphorus have built up in those soils, and they're leaching out now. We have what we call a legacy issue. And so by and large, though, agriculture is doing a phenomenal job. We know there's some issues, we can't deny that, and the ag community wants to be a part of the solution. The information that we're learning here will help to feed that. They just want to base their decisions on that sound science. And the edge of field research that we're collecting here will help get them there.
Now, some of that runoff can be slowed down with various practices.
Absolutely. So there are practices that can slow the discharge out, drainage water management being one of those. And that's where we artificially raise the outlet elevation of a tile. During the winter months, and then after we do our side dressing, there's a time, although we don't get a lot of flow during those periods, we can artificially raise those outlet elevations, and we'll see anywhere from a 10 to a 40% reduction in the annual flow or water that moves down the streams and into the streams and into the lake. And if we think back to 2012 and even 2016, those are years and currently where we have very small blooms, which tell us as a science community, if we can control the water, we can control a lot of the problem. And so drainage water management is one of those. The other way is to store water on the field through cover crops, and not the cover crops themselves, but the organic matter that builds up. For every percentage of organic matter that we have in our soil, we can hold about 3/4 of an inch of water. And a lot of the soils that were formed here when the settlers started settling this were in that 5.5% to 6% range of organic matter. Now those numbers are in the 1.5% to 2.5%. And if we can build those back up, and we can do that through cover crops, we can get that biomass through no-till, keeping those roots in the ground, we can build that organic matter up. We can store that 2 inches of water that and the nutrients that go with them, and that will go a long way and help us address this problem.
Some of the other research is fascinating as I listen to you and the other experts talk, just simply what you can do with ditches.
Two-stage ditches, absolutely. There's this idea that, you know, a lot of this landscape, there were swales or low-lying areas. In order to get the water off, we would ditch them. We would make those more channelized, move water off the site faster. What we're starting to realize now is we can change that design to some capacity. What we call a two-stage ditch, which where we're here on this particular farm has installed one, we can actually slow the water. So there's a small channel inside of that ditch, which allows generally a 1 or 2 inch recurrent rainfall to go down that stream. But when we have those larger rainfalls, that water migrates out over what we call some benches, and it slows it down, and there's vegetation on those that will hopefully absorb and pull up some of those nutrients. So yes, there's a lot of engineering. It's not as simple as just looking across the landscape and say there's a ditch. A lot of this has some engineering solutions to it.
And it's just like a river as the water flows down. With the research that you do here and the research that's done in other places, it sort of piggybacks, and what you're finding out today is going to be a very important research tool down the road in a few years.
Absolutely. You know, we needed this 10 years ago. But what we do learn today will set the stage for what agriculture looks like in the next 5, 10, 20 years from now.
Well, Dr. King, I'd like to stay here and talk with you a lot longer, but time won't permit that. If some of the viewers right now are listening and seeing what we're talking about and have questions, more questions, how's the best way for them to find out more?
You can contact me or the U.S. Department of Agriculture Agricultural Research Service. We're located in Columbus, Ohio. We're actually the Soil Drainage Research Unit. If you Google ARS, you can find Ohio on the map, and there's 2 locations. There's one in Worcester and one in Columbus. Click on Columbus. It has all of my contact information. I'd be more than happy to share more information.
Oh, super. We've been visiting with Dr. Kevin King. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And stay with us. Back with more right after this.
As harvest season begins, fall is the best time to prepare your soils for the next growing season. At Bambauer Fertilizer and Seed, we can help you plan the best application for your farm with commercial fertilizer, lime, gypsum, enviro, or poultry litter, using GPS variable rate technology. We have the people, knowledge, products, and equipment to meet your goals this fall. Call Bambauers today to prepare your farm for exceptional yields. 888-MAX-CROP.
Some prefer to invest in fields halfway around the world, in short-term solutions to long-term challenges. At Poet, we're investing in the fields we have right here at home, cultivating communities and growing the local economy, creating new local jobs while we create worldwide energy solutions, helping family farms grow even as they fuel the world. Because we know that investing in a community can pay global dividends. See the world differently with Poet.
Automate your existing sliding doors with Propel Automation of Ohio. Automate up to 60-foot twin sliding shed or barn doors with their award-winning patented system. And now Propel Automation of Ohio is part of Ohio Agribility Program, allowing Ohio farmers and farm families who are coping with disabilities or long-term health conditions to automate their doors. For security, safety, convenience, remember Propel Automation of Ohio. Check us out on the web at propelohio.com.
Hello once again, everybody. We're visiting with Lauren Lindemann at a field day talking to farmers. And actually, I guess maybe I should ask you, Lauren, what do you hope to achieve at this field day today? You're with the Nature Conservancy, and that might give a little bit of a clue. We're talking about water quality and how to improve it.
Yeah, the field day today was meant to bring to our farmers, our landowners, even some of our partners that are in the state and federal agencies or other watershed organizations, to bring some speakers that have been researching new agricultural best management practices that will help with water quality. So that's a lot of our focus is what agriculture can do to protect water.
You know, Lauren, if you would go from tent to tent to tent to the various educational issues that were being presented, you'll find out that there are so many different practices that are available, and we're finding out new information about all of them.
Yes. it's great to have so many options because there are so many farming systems. And with having all these different best management practices that can go as surface drains or tile outlets or something that can be infield or in stream, it's just great to be able to offer all these different best management practices that can fit into one person's farming system. So not one thing is meant for every place. So it's great to be able to show them that there's a lot of options.
You know, the Nature Conservancy has such a good reputation over the years of working with so many different organizations. It must be nice to know that you can get all the various companies and organizations like Farm Bureau to help with all the research.
Yes, so we've been very fortunate, as you mentioned, to have some partners here in the Susquehanna Creek watershed with Ohio Farm Bureau with the Demonstration Farms Network. And then for us, this field day started long before this today. So we had great partners in John Deere and Finley Implement dealerships, and also the local Hardin Soil and Water District and Hardin Extension, OSU Extension, and their NRCS staff in the county. So it's been a great conglomeration of partners coming together and wanting to share what their goals are for outreach and education as well.
And it's nice to find a landowner that is so readily available and wanting to help in any way you can.
Yes, I first met Chris Kurt 4 years ago, and we started a project with him where we installed almost a half-mile two-stage ditch, and we also worked with him with filter strips, a little bit of cover crops, and nutrient management plans, and that relationship has just blossomed.
Now, this farm is, after the field day, is still doing research, and you have various other farms throughout northwestern Ohio, and all of that research will go together to help come up with an answer, hopefully, to some of the water quality problems in the future.
Yes, I agree. We have, personally, through the Nature Conservancy, we have contracted with Ohio Northern University to do some of the watershed monitoring that the demonstration farms can't do, because a lot of their stuff will be the edge of field on various farms. So we're hoping that, like you mentioned, everything across Northwest Ohio, everything here on the demonstration farms, and then what we can do in the watershed will all tie together and have a great picture and a story to tell when we get that data all analyzed.
Lauren, I know that you have a website that folks could click into and find out more information.
Sure. Our website is nature.org/WLEB.
And we'll have that on our website also as a link for anybody that has questions that want to ask you or anybody at the Nature Conservancy.
That's great.
Thank you very much. We've been visiting with Lauren Lindemann with the Nature Conservancy. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us and coming today.
Allen Davis Insurance Agency, with 30 years commitment to the community, providing quality insurance services. Allen is a business owner and an active farmer, and he knows firsthand the pressures of running your farming operation. Call Allen today and ask about coverage for your farm, your vehicles, your equipment, crops, and more. Call 1-800-686-2148. That's 1-800-686-2148.
I'm Terry McClure, a fifth-generation soybean farmer. Farming can be tough, but we have the Ohio Soybean Council investing farmers' dollars to find new uses for soybeans. Their research helps develop better beans for livestock, poultry, and for people. It also helps create new products like soy-based cleaning supplies and paint cartridges. Plus, cleaner-burning soy biodiesel reduces our dependence on foreign oil. Soybeans are Ohio's #1 agricultural export. To learn more, visit soyohio.org.
Are you looking to buy or sell farmland? Then work with a company that works for you. Ron Spencer Real Estate. Founded in 1975, Ron Spencer specializes in farmland, agricultural, and commercial real estate. Check him out on the web for farm listings in Allen, Auglaize, Hancock, Hardin, Putnam, Paulding, Mercer, Van Wert counties, and more. With 3 locations to serve you, Ron Spencer Real Estate at rsre.com. That's rsre.com.
Hello once again, everybody. We're visiting with Jerry McBride. Jerry is the chairman of the Hardin County Soil and Water Conservation District. And I guess, Jerry, as we take a look at this field day and everything that has gone on and the draw from counties far and wide, You have to be happy with the turnout.
Oh yeah, I'm very pleased. We had a beautiful day today, and looking at some of the license plates and knowing where they came from, I mean, we're drawing as far away as Williams County, Cleveland, Huron, Erie County, Columbus. A bunch came up from Columbus, and a few from outer state even. And I just met a guy from Preble County, came all the way up from Preble County. So fantastic turnout. People are wanting to learn about conservation and conservation practices.
And of course, water quality is one of those prime areas, especially after what happened in the Toledo area just a few months ago, actually. But a lot of research has been done in that since that time, since there has been a coalition of education, government, industry, all working together, and that is so important when everybody works together.
That is very important, and that's part of the why we're here today. A group called Nature Conservancy came down to Hardin County and wanted to do a two-stage ditch, and at the time we said, what's a two-stage ditch, you know? Did a little research into the Nature Conservancy and two-stage ditches and said, yeah, nobody else is trying this, let's try it in Hardin County. We like to be proactive a lot of times, and that's only led into other projects with them, and now other partners have come in to join us. Putnam County's with us in some projects, and now NRCS and Farm Bureau have joined together to do this demonstration project, which happens to be on the original two-stage ditch we did in Hardin County. So this is only going to grow, and as far as research and education goes, it's a prime place on a state highway and right here at the headwaters of Lake Erie.
Jerry, edge of field seems to be a term that we've heard a lot today. Can you describe that?
Edge of field, yeah, basically you're talking about monitoring water quality that comes off of the top. It's runoff over the top of fields. And they'll find a little swale, a little like valley in the edge of the field, and they'll set up a dike and a plume, and they'll catch all the water that comes off. And they've got automated testing that's solar powered that tests that water regularly as it's coming off to see just how much phosphorus is coming off the farm ground or whether there's not phosphorus. I mean, we don't know these answers yet. They've been out here about a year and a half or so already. We should be getting some results, but I really don't know any results yet myself.
Well, you know, the one thing that I don't like, and then I don't like the fact that agriculture a lot of times gets blamed first for really no facts, but then we find out that agriculture is one of the first entities that actually does the research to find out how to solve the problems.
Well, once again, you know, we as farmers and Soil and Water Board, as far as that goes, like to be proactive. And farmers in general, we have to take care of the land. That's what we make our living off of. And so you're not going to just throw away dollars on fertilizer and anything else. So why not be at the forefront to know what you're doing so that we know what we're putting on the land is exactly what we need economically, but also sociably so that it's accepted by the rest of the state and country.
You know, about the time I got into this crazy business of farm broadcasting, one of the terms, one of the phrases that I kept hearing was from the old timers at that time was that we want to leave the farm in better shape than when we got it. And that's still the case today.
Oh, it's definitely the case. And I've made that statement numerous times. I've kind of changed it though lately. Since I've got grandchildren now, it's more, I want to leave things better for my grandchildren, land-wise and world-wise. So it's not just about the land anymore. I mean, that's a given. That's where we make our money. But I would like to leave everything better for my grandchildren to enjoy, you know, when someday maybe I'm gone.
Jerry, if folks would like to get in touch with Soil and Water, what's the best way for them to do that?
The easiest way to reach the Soil and Water District, we're in the phone book as far as that goes, but the office is the west side of town, or call 419-673, I forgot the number. Call the office. I mean, they're in the phone book. You can find it on the internet. Google it. That's the easiest way.
Okay, very good. Jerry McBride has been our guest. Jerry, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Gary.
Automate your existing sliding doors with Propel Automation of Ohio. Automate up to 60-foot twin sliding shed or barn doors with their award-winning patented system. And now Propel Automation of Ohio is part of Ohio Agribility Program, allowing Ohio farmers and farm families who are coping with disabilities or long-term health conditions to automate their doors. For security, safety, convenience, remember Propel Automation of Ohio. Check us out on the web at propelohio.com. Allen Davis Insurance Agency, with 30 years commitment to the community, providing quality insurance services. Allen is a business owner and an active farmer, and he knows firsthand the pressures of running your farming operation. Call Allen today and ask about coverage for your farm, your vehicles, your equipment, crops, and more. Call 1-800-686-2148. That's 1-800-686-2148. Are you looking to buy or sell farmland? Then work with a company that works for you. Ron Spencer Real Estate. Founded in 1975, Ron Spencer specializes in farmland, agricultural, and commercial real estate. Check him out on the web for farm listings in Allen, Auglaize, Hancock, Hardin, Putnam, Paulding, Mercer, Van Wert counties, and more. With 3 locations to serve you, Ron Spencer Real Estate at rsre.com. That's rsre.com.
Hello once again, everybody. We're visiting with Brandon Kern with the Ohio Farm Bureau. Brandon, can you tell us what your responsibilities are?
Sure. So my title is Senior Director for Policy Outreach at Ohio Farm Bureau. And really it's all about connecting the dots between the policy work that Farm Bureau does and all those interested parties out there. So consumers, our farmers. I also have underneath me our water quality team. So these are a group of researchers that are dedicating themselves to understanding the water quality issue and helping farmers put in place practices to be a part of the solution.
Well, actually, then what you do is what Farm Bureau has done for many years, working with the grassroots in trying to make better anything that we can. Let's talk a little bit about water quality, and I know there's a concerted effort between various organizations, various universities, industry. Bring us up to date, if you would, about what farmers are doing to better the water quality in Ohio.
Sure. So there's a lot going on in this area in terms of water quality, and we really are working together as an agricultural community. So that's Farm Bureau, a lot of the other commodity groups who represent those individual commodities like corn and wheat growers, soybean growers, and those types of things. So at Farm Bureau and in partnership with a lot of those organizations, we've put in place dollars up front. So we're kind of trying to put our money where our mouth is in terms of supporting research, ensuring that farmers are getting training and education they need to do things like become certified in fertilizer application, so that we're doing those things the right way and in a responsible way. So ongoing research on the ground practices like today. So we're at a field day where farmers are learning about practices that research is showing is making a difference in reducing nutrient runoff on the field. So that's critically important because we learn best when we actually can see it in person. And so things like this are incredibly important, things that the agriculture community are doing together right now to make a difference in water quality.
Well, I think whenever there's a problem, everybody's quick to jump on the farmer, but actually when you look at things, there are problems other than in the rural areas that play into the problems as well, and when you can get everybody working together, it helps for the future.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, we've acknowledged, I think farmers and the agriculture industry have acknowledged up front, hey, we certainly have a role to play here. We're a contributing factor to this issue, and I think farmers across the state have stepped up. But maybe one of our important issues is just that collaborative effort with some of our community partners. So the Healthy Water Ohio initiative is something that was started a couple years ago, and that's really the focus on taking a comprehensive approach to this. So looking at issues of gray infrastructure issues in our cities. It includes agricultural runoff and things like that, but bringing industry, business, community leaders all together to all be a part of this problem is really important as well.
I have seen in residential areas landowners treating their lawns have no idea how much fertilizer they need, and then you've got in certain areas wild livestock that pollute. And when you look at some of the fields today that might have problems, it might stem back, maybe for a century, when farmers just kept putting on manure on the fields because that's what they were told to do.
Yeah, and so that is a part of the expectation about how quickly we can make a change is important, because as you said, there's a lot of contributing factors. Some of it's agriculture, but I think we're working to put in place the practices that will make a difference. But as you say, this issue wasn't created overnight. We're not going to be able to solve it overnight. The science involved with this is going to take some evolution, and it's going to take some time to see the effects of it as well.
But with the research, we can show if there is steady improvement, we can show that year after year after year, and that'll help everyone along the way learn how to do things better.
That's critically important, and we're already starting to see the results. Ohio State University just rolled out some preliminary findings of some research that they've done last week. It's showing that farmers are already starting to move the needle in terms of how much phosphorus is in the soil. So we've already reduced phosphorus by a significant amount. Still got a lot of work to do, but you can see the needle starting to move already, and that's encouraging.
I would imagine that some of this information is going to be available at Farm Science Review.
Yeah, at the Farm Bureau display, certainly. But there's going to be a lot of vendors showing off equipment like this that are a big part of helping us do the right thing and putting in place some of these best practices in terms of application on the ground. So lots of demonstrations like that. Of course, the Farm Bureau building, we're going to dedicate a large portion of our building to showing what we're doing in our water quality action plan. So I think you can learn a lot at Farm Science Review about what's going on in the agriculture community in terms of improving water quality.
For those viewers that can't travel to the review and would like to get a little bit more information, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, healthywaterohio.org is a great resource for that comprehensive group of folks who are working together that I talked about. And of course, you can visit Farm Bureau's website at ofbf.org as well. We've got a lot of information about what agriculture is doing in terms of improving water quality there as well.
Brandon Kern has been our guest. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks. It's always good to see you.
As harvest season begins, fall is the best time to prepare your soils for the next growing season. At Bambauer Fertilizer and Seed, we can help you plan the best application for your farm with commercial fertilizer, lime, gypsum, enviro, or poultry litter, using GPS variable rate technology. We have the people, knowledge, products, and equipment to meet your goals this fall. Call Bambauer's today to prepare your farm for exceptional yields. 888-MAX-CROP.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of In Ohio Country Today. If you'd like more information about today's show, drop us a line. Check us out on the web at inohiocountry.com. That's inohiocountry.com. Have a good day, everybody.